So what's your favorite art piece in here?
Favorite art piece in this room?
No, in the
Um,
apartment.
oh, the apartment. We'd actually, that's the one thing that we're trying to find more of is art. We have a lot of blank walls, as you can see.
See, I thought that was intentional.
The blank walls?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I
It's
was
just
like, oh wow, it's interesting how he intentionally doesn't put stuff on the walls.
no. We definitely want to put more stuff on the walls, but it's yeah, we're also like very picky, so we also, we need to agree on the things that we get for our space. So but we'll get there. This one behind me is actually really cool. I bought this at um, a movie like art fair at the Metrograph. So the movie theater
Oh.
in the Lower East Side, which I mentioned a few minutes ago. But yeah, I just got. I think it's a cool print. And what does it say? Yeah, Ninth New York Film Festival, 1971. It's just like very iconic from that time period, and it's um, yeah, I like it. It's cool, and just put a simple frame around it. But yeah, I got it at the Metrograph. I went there. It was like a 2-day fair, and I saw on the first day, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! Like, if it's here tomorrow, then I'll buy it." And I went back, and it was there, and got it.
Bought it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's got a nice little story to it as well.
What? There's so many interesting things. It's like you just want to like look at everything. Everything's so displayed nicely and
Yeah, we have some great books, and some amazing, yeah, like vases and bowls and stuff from Kylie and her family, that's also something that I'm really looking forward to, is like buying pieces in your home that will live with your family for like generations, right? Obviously, like we're not going to be able to pass everything down, but there's some cool things that I've bought recently that I would love to pass down to my kids, right? And just like have it as a part of the family, right? Like my family, my parents were not in like design fields at all.
yeah.
Like my dad was an airline pilot for 40 plus years. My mom was primarily a stay-at-home mom and did a lot of stuff with like independent theater and community theater, and just don't have like a rich history of like design. And so I think that would have been so cool. And that's just something, again, that I've like learned and have thought that could be, yeah, just something really cool to pass down items. It also helps justify if there's like a really expensive piece of furniture or art.
Yeah, it is a good
Right. But it's
justification.
been fun to think about, having things in the home, or I feel like that's more common for guys, especially with like dads and sons, like maybe like a watch or like other jewelry, which I don't know if my dad has anything like that. I've been meaning to ask him. But anyway, yeah, it's cool to think about that as well. Buying things that, could potentially live with you forever, but then be passed down, right? And it really makes you think about purchases that you make, just being very thoughtful and very considerate over everything. And I read, that Marie Kondo book like years and years ago, and that stuck with me to this day. Not even just about the things that I currently own, but the things that I bring into my life. So I just want to be very thoughtful, very intentional with most everything that I buy and consume. Sometimes that makes it more challenging to buy new things because you just get so in your head and like, oh, do I really like it enough to like live with it for years and years and years? But I think that's better than the flip side of just being a bit more impulsive and not think about it, right? So part of the reason why we have all these blank walls is just not being so impulsive with it. But yeah, it's been super fun, and New York is such an amazing city to be able to surround myself with different art forms, and it's the mecca for a lot of things culturally, and I feel like I'm just constantly inspired. Even in Brooklyn too, that's been one thing that's still fascinating, is even just from Manhattan to Brooklyn, like the art, the design, the people, the fashion is different. Like Brooklyn is just much more casual, laid back. I don't feel like I need to dress up or impress people like if I was walking through Soho or downtown after work for dinner. And that's been super nice. I think a lot of that has to do with the pandemic, but I do think Brooklyn is just like more casual and laid back, which is really nice, I must say.
What are you still looking forward to doing in New York that you haven't done yet?
The first thing that popped into my mind was going to Storm King. I haven't been there yet. It's this big outdoor museum with like installations. It's a lot like Marfa, like in Texas.
Okay.
But it's this massive, like wide open art museum that I've never been to, and it's right up my alley. It's just like big, vast open spaces, like big sculptures, and just like random stuff, and like rolling hills. Some like really cool opportunities for like photos and just kind of like standing in space. I feel like you would dig it a lot too.
Yeah, Storm King. It sounds
Storm
like
King.
a Game of Thrones location.
Maybe. I don't know much about Game of Thrones. I definitely need to get it to and yeah, that's like a very easy thing to knock off like the list, but I just like haven't gotten around to it. I mean, it is like it's like a 2-hour drive, so you have to like, do some pre-planning for that. But other things that I'm excited about, I'm just excited to continue getting more years under my belt. Like I'm coming up on 4 years in New York, which is crazy to think about. And I've seen a lot of different versions, especially, pre, during, and post COVID.
Yeah.
In different areas too. Like I've lived in Prospect Heights. I started here in Brooklyn, then I went to Manhattan for 2 years. Now I'm back in Fort Greene, and I'm just excited to like get more years under my belt. And I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe hit that 10-year mark, which is like the unofficial like you're now a New Yorker mark.
Okay, yeah. That's why I always thought of Chicago. Like
10
if you're
years?
here for 10 years,
Yeah.
you can call yourself a Chicagoan.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm just excited to get more experience, and there's still a ton of this city that I have yet to see and yet to explore. We were talking earlier, like I haven't even been to Staten Island yet, right? Like I want to experience that. I don't want to leave any stone unturned, which is going to take a lifetime, in New York, and like the restaurants, the bars. Like I haven't been back to see a show in a while. There's still a lot to do. But yeah, I'm excited to continue trying to knock everything off.
Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit, one of the last questions I like to ask guests is that, what are you curious about recently?
What am I curious about? Oh, that's a good one. I feel like I should have been prepared. Did you ask this last time? The curiosity
I ask
question?
it like every episode.
Oh man.
What are you curious about recently? Yeah.
What are you curious about recently?
What's on your mind?
Oof, a lot of things. I'm curious. I feel like there's, what was it? What's the first thing that came into my mind? I'm planning a wedding, as you know.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just curious what I'm really curious what like wedding day, what I'm gonna feel.
Oh, interesting.
It's something that we had this really lovely engagement party here in New York for like our friends in New York, and we're keeping the wedding pretty small, so we just wanted an opportunity to invite like extended friends who can't come to the ceremony. And it was like lowest stakes, it was like a home court game. Like it was down the street at Paulette, like wine bar, middle of the afternoon on like a Saturday, just our friends. Like my family didn't come in for it, like some of her family, but again, it was just kind of like a friends, like, hey, we're getting married, like let's have like some wine together.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I was just like pretty nervous, and I don't know
That
why.
day?
Yeah, that day.
Okay.
And I had like the butterflies, and I was like excited, but also nervous. And I knew I wanted to say something at the event, just like a thank you guys so much. And, this is like a little bit of our story. And, yeah, I was just like a little nervous, and I got excited, and, we were like running around here, just like getting ready for it, just making sure like, everyone was gonna have a good time, and like, did we order like enough wine, and like, should we have gotten more food, and are we like dressed too casually, and like, and so I guess I'm just curious like if I'm gonna be able to like keep it together that day. And it's something that I haven't thought a ton about, but yeah, like I'm just curious to see how that day goes and how I feel. And I know it's going to be such a waterfall of mixed emotions, of like nervous energy and excited, and just wanting it to go well, and wanting everyone to have a good time. And me, you know, we're going to do our own vows. And so like, that's going to be a whole like ball game of like writing that and making sure it's up to the level that I know Kylie is gonna do. She's gonna like do something amazing, and I'm just gonna be like, I love you so much. But yeah, I'm curious to, which is a ways away, but that's what popped into my mind first.